to be based predominantly on how well I selected the images and how good my training data is. So once it's done training and it tells you what the accuracy level is, if I did a really good job, it'll have a high accuracy. If it's not very accurate, then I'll have to come up with a different approach, perhaps different kinds of images, or maybe select my images a little bit more granular than what I did right now. Like, for example, I selected the whole eye, but if I knew that conjunctivitis was only the color of the white of the eye, and it was, either bloodshot or it was like a real pink color, then maybe I could just select the box around just the white of the eye as opposed to the whole eye. But for these purposes, I wanted to basically kind of allow a patient to be able to take an image and have the AI builder automatically determine if they have conjunctivitis based on that whole eye image. Once the model is completed, what we can do then is we can either use it as part of our app, or we can use it as part of a Power Automate routine. So in the Power Automate routine, I basically can, by default, it'll create a manual step. So it'll be a manual Power Automate that I could run. So basically, if I got this information into one of my records in the Common Data Service, then I could go and run that that Power Automate flow, and that basically would engage the AI builder, and then it would present the image against this AI routine and determine whether that image shows somebody with conjunctivitis or not. So we're still training. Another thing is when you go in here, this is a different pricing scheme for AI Builder. So you'll see this message at the top. Now you can see that I initiated a free trial. You can just click on the button and it'll initiate a free trial for up to 30 days. And then if you wanted to see what the price was afterwards, I think it's, I want to say it's $500 per month for standard retail pricing. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Why did I do that? Sorry. I was trying to click the wrong. There we go. Sorry. I keep getting these messages in the corner about bad audio quality from Teams, which is kind of frustrating because this is Microsoft Live and I should be getting a good connection. I'm on a high-speed connection. So while this one is still training, I'll show you this one here. So in this case, here I have Kawasaki disease, and I'll show you how to test it. So if I want to provide a quick test of the model, so you see this one says that it's 90% accurate, and I can click on quick test, and then I can add an image, which let's say we'll click here. This kid's got his tongue out, so we'll click this one. So this one's telling me that there's a 59% chance that this kid has Kawasaki disease. Now, I don't know if that's exactly accurate. I don't know too much about this kid, for example, but this is kind of what it ends up doing. So it'll show you the different percentages associated with the picture. So let's go back. So once your model is complete, you can use the model either in a Power Automate or a part of the Power App. So let's click on Use Model once, and I'll show you what this looks like. So here you can either create a new app or you can create a new flow. So if I click on New Flow, it's going to give you the ability to manually run this. So you can see this is a manually triggered flow. It uses the Common Data Service predict, and then what it's looking for is it's looking for an image file And then basically it's going to call your model, and it's going to process the model that now it says that it's trained. So I'm going to click on my conjunctivitis. I'm going to see what percentage we came up with. It says 84%. That's not too bad. We'd really like to see something like this up in the 90 or 95%. So let's see if I can do a quick test. And let's select an image. So let's see, where do I have some pictures? I'll find a picture here. And we'll see if this one says conjunctivitis or not. So this says 50% does not have conjunctivitis. Well, that wasn't a very good test, right? But see, that was kind of taken out. So let's see if we can find one that's a little bit closer. Let's try a group image. So here we have a group image. And you might recognize these guys. These guys are the Beatles. There we go. So it was able to look at, you can see that I identified these as similar eye patterns, and so it gave us 3 results. You can see that it didn't come up with these other results. Not sure why. We might have to adjust the model a little bit. In all cases, it says that these people don't have conjunctivitis, and based on kind of looking at them, we'd kind of expect that, right? Let's try another test. Let's try. See what we have here. Let's try this guy. This image is from an example for face detection. So 33% does not have conjunctivitis. Now, again, why would this come up with only 33% when perhaps we think that he doesn't have it? It just comes down to the images that we use and what we selected. So if we wanted to refine this, we could go back and do these again, and we could use either different images, or we could use a different selection criteria. Like I said, I selected the whole eye. You see that is kind of indicating maybe not as much accuracy as we would like. So perhaps we could just select just the area of the color of the eye, and that would kind of give us an idea. If we click on this link will show us some additional criteria about improving the model. So some of the things they suggest is the format and the size, the data quantity and data balance. So you want to have at least 15 inches per object. In fact, if you don't have 15, it won't let you, up to 500 images, and then only 15 for the other. The training data set isn't balanced. So you saw that I had, how many images did I have? I had 15 with conjunctivitis, and then I had, what about 25 did not have conjunctivitis. So one of the things I could do is I could balance that. So let's go back to our model for a second. So we're going to go back into conjunctivitis. Oh, wait a second. Let's publish this one first. Now, the system will keep up to 2 versions of your model. So one of the things that you can do is you can try to refine this model. So let's go back into our edit model. And this time what we could do is we could remove a few of those pictures so it's a little bit more balanced and see if there's any difference in the performance. So I'm going to go back to, I'm just going to click next. Now you could add more criteria. I just did 2 criteria here, but remember I had those that had those other conditions, and you could you basically could let's see, I don't want to delete all of these for my demonstration. So maybe what we'll do is let's try this. So with this one, I'm just gonna I'm gonna reduce this to be a little bit more focused on the eye. And remember, this one was kind of a tweener, so maybe that was one of the ones that was kind of throwing it off. Let's see. I'm just going to click through these. Here's one that I'm going to make this a little bit more focused on the eye. This one wasn't so accurate, so I'm going to make this one come down a bit. There we go. Now, here I've got a lot of images. I had 25 that do not have. So I'm going to say, don't use this image. Remove that one. And say, don't use this image. And say, don't use that image. And don't use that image. And take one more. Okay. So I have a number of that I removed. So remove 5 images. And now I'm going to click next. And now I'm going to train this again. And then we'll go to see this, see if it's more accurate or less accurate. If it's less accurate, then I want to revert back to the previous model. So you can see it's retraining. Probably the only complaints that I have, they just prompted me for feedback. Probably what I would say is that when I go to add it to Power Automate, I'd actually like more options. I'd like it to be able to trigger off of a standard one without having to go and do some custom editing to get that to work. You saw that when I launched it, it really was designed just to allow a manual triggering of the event, but